In the age of wonder.
Welcome back into that Sean podcast. It is I, Big Ush. It is he, the Cat Daddy. One of us is truly in draft mode now. The other one is about to get there probably in about 4 weeks. But hey, who's counting?
Who's counting?
Anyways, Cat Daddy, what's on your mind?
Well, the bowl season may be over, but let's be real. The bowl season was kind of underwhelming, wasn't it? Yeah.
There's balls? I mean,
Yeah. But do you know what's not going to be
it did
underwhelming?
give us Ohio State, Utah. We can take that one to the bank.
And we did see Georgia and their 30-year droughts.
And
They topped Alabama.
yes, they did.
I know, but
All
other
right.
than that, the bowl season is underwhelming. But what's not going to be underwhelming is draft season, which is coming up right around the corner. I love it.
All right, so we're gonna jump right into this. We got a little bit more time. Maybe it gives us more time to talk about some players, or maybe we just give you a short episode today. We just giving you a long NFL episode, so you know this could be a nice reprieve for some of you. All right, jumping in. This is our interior defensive tackle class we're doing first. So, Cat Daddy, who was your number 5 of the summer, and who is your number 5 now?
I had my eye on Haskell Garrett from Ohio State as my number 5 interior defensive lineman. Slight
Just
pivot.
do it.
I've got no. Slight was actually under. Yeah. It's my number 5 guy. Yeah, go ahead.
I mean, he's still a good player, but not top 5.
No. Nope. There were plenty of other players who did better, like Harry and Winfrey from Oklahoma.
Indeed.
He possesses speed, quickness, athleticism. All of that is going to help him test really well at the combine. That's what I'm looking forward to. But you have those attributes, and then you add in his strength. And that's going to help him win battles with those interior offensive linemen. That's going to help him put pressure on the quarterbacks. He's a player who's got good play recognition, which means he spends a lot of time in the film room, and I love that. Oklahoma used him all over the line, which at times I think limited what his upside could have been, but I feel like he's going to do better in the pros.
All right, so my number 5 guy was Tyler Davis. I was hoping he'd show up more for Clemson. He didn't do bad. He's still in the top 10, but he's not a top 5 guy. There's always a guy who comes out of nowhere, usually from the team that my number 5 guy is from, because my number 5 guy is Fedarian Mathis from Bama. Bama always has a defensive lineman that comes up out of nowhere. I mean, he's not really out of nowhere. He's a 4-star guy. But this guy got his chance, was able to show how good he is. He's got a lot of quickness, got a lot of power. I mean, probably most suited for, maybe a 3-4 end, but could probably easily play 3 technique in a 4-3 defense, which means he's probably headed for a Bill Belichick multiple defense. So we'll look out for that. But this guy is very versatile, very nice player. Number 4 for you, Sean.
In the summer, I had Perry and Winfrey, who's now my number 5. So you're talking about players coming out of nowhere. I've got one from Georgia, Devontae Wyatt. capable of playing all over the line. Love the quickness, love the athleticism, especially for a guy his size, and it helped him make a huge jump this season. And he showed himself to be a force, not only a huge force rushing from the inside, he's able to beat those linemen one-on-one. But I have a slight fear, and that's his success could be attributed playing with a very talented Georgia defense. So the Senior Bowl is going to be a huge week for him. He showed us flashes during the season, but we need to see the consistency going against high-level talents one-on-one during the Senior Bowl. So I'm really looking forward to that.
All right, so my number 5 guy was Haskell Garrett. Number 4 guy was Haskell Garrett, who was your number 5 guy. But my number 4 guy is your current number 5 guy, which is Perrion Winfrey. And I really like him. He played up and down the line. Let it be 0, let it be 5, let it be 3. I think in the league he's going to be a pure 3 technique. He does show a lot of pass rushing ability, but he can stop the run. It's very interesting. We got a defensive tackle out of the Big 12, but the Big 12 played some defense this year. And Oklahoma in particular relied on its defense very often in this season, and Winfrey was one of those guys that they relied on. Number 3.
All right, number 3 in the summer was Jermaine Lole from Arizona State. But this time around, I have Fidarian Mathis from Alabama.
One blocker. One that fell kind of further down the list also.
Yeah. But when it comes to Mathis, 1 blocker, 2 blocker, 3 blocker, the more the merrier when you're trying to stop this guy. Shows good play recognition, and that's going to help him stop the run. He has the ability to put pressure on the quarterback, which is a nice combination to have from an interior defensive lineman. There's a lot of upside to like about Fidarian, and we saw that during the playoffs.
All right, so my number 3 guy in the summertime was Perrion Winfrey of Oklahoma. So he dropped 1 spot for me. That's not a lot. But my number 3 guy, another one of those out of nowhere guys, Devontae Wyatt out of Georgia. I like him a little bit better than you. Here's the thing. This guy came on hard this year. All the defensive tackles for Georgia came on hard this year. Unlike his teammate, this guy is a 3 technique. He's got a lot of pass rush ability. He's got very athletic. He's going to be a nice piece for some team out there. Could possibly be a first-round pick. We'll have to monitor that situation. He's a fringe first-round pick at the moment. Next up, we got number 2.
Number 2 in the summer was Jordan Davis from Georgia. Number 2 now, and with the top 2, it's not number 1 and then number 2. It's become a 1A and a 1B. It all depends on what you want your defensive lineman or interior defensive lineman to do. So during the summer, I had Marvin Leal ranked as my number 1 interior defensive line prospect. He's my number 2 right now, or my 1B.
And here's the thing. Let me just interrupt you for a second, because we're just going to move this along for us. My number 2 in the summer was the same as you, and my number 2 right now is the same as you now. So Jordan Davis and DeMarvin Leal. And one thing before I let you get into it, it's not because DeMarvin Leal played poorly. It's because the number 1 guy just turned out to be that dominant. And we'll get to him. But DeMarvin Leal, he had some pretty good stuff going on this year. Go ahead, Sean.
It was, and you're thinking of a Texas A&M team that had a lot of draft eligible players on their team. You're looking forward to them taking a step forward collectively as a whole. It was a disappointing year for them, and I think that prevented players like Marvin Leal from showing that progression, taking that next step. It wasn't like he played bad. He played well in the team. I just didn't see that next step that I wanted to see out of him. And it's amusing that we talk about DeMarvin Leal as an interior defensive lineman because he's taken his a majority of his snaps at the ends. He's taken them outside the tackle, but he stays in the conversation because his capability of playing and lining up all over the defensive line offers a lot of versatility. Not only at Texas A&M, but he can do the same thing at the pros. His athleticism, whatever team drafts him, they're going to be able to line him up inside, so he can go ahead and bully those interior offensive linemen during running downs. And then on those passing downs, you can just kick him to the outside, have him play some end, and then you can put pressure on the quarterback. And Texas A&M having that down year, it was a disappointing year for the team as a whole. I just wanted to see a little bit more out of DeMarvin this year.
I get you. But even on those big packages, you put him at 5 tech and then set the edge.
Mm-hmm.
One of the big comps that people are putting out there. I'm not putting this out there. Some people are putting this out there. People are saying Chris Jones. That's a bold thing right there.
Yep.
People are like, wait, you got a guy like Chris Jones, and he's not your number one guy? No, he's not. He was in the summer. Both our number one guys now is Jordan Davis. And that's because Jordan Davis came in, and Jordan Davis is a big mammoth wrecking crew. He's a one-man wrecking crew. He will take up 2, maybe 3 blockers and leave everybody free to do whatever they need. He might give you some pass rush ability and just bum rush your whole squad, just like he did on the first play, basically, of the national championship game there, where everybody thought Bryce Young had fumbled. This dude has got all the ability of the world. He bet on himself coming back, and it paid off.
Absolutely. If you have a team that's looking for a nose tackle, somebody to plug the gap, stop the run game, eat up 2-3 blocks, this is the guy that you want. I wouldn't expect much from the pass rushing.
But he can do it.
He
can still do it.
Yep, but if I'm drafting him, that's not what I'm drafting him for. I'm drafting him to stop the run game. He'll need development, but yeah, he can put pressure on the quarterback. He can help move the pocket around. Absolutely.
I'm saying, Vita Vea, Derek Brown-esque.
Yeah, it's amazing. Looking at this, because we had the same 5 guys, slightly different order for 3, 4, and 5, but 4 of these guys come from the SEC.
Indeed. That big boy football.
It is, and it just shows why it's one of the better conferences for football.
All right, moving on. We're going to go to our edge class. Yeah, we're doubling up because we want to get to the Senior Bowl. Mm-hmm. And then what we're going to do is we're going to get through all the evaluation. We're going to do this again leading up to the draft. So, Sean, in the summer, who was your number 5 guy?
I had this guy coming back from a broken leg, played in the Big Ten, the school in Ann Arbor. His name is Aiden Hutchinson, I think it was.
Might hear him again.
Yeah.
Might hear about him again.
Strange. Yeah, very unusual. We'll see. But my number 5 guy now is Jermaine Johnson from Florida State. JUCO transfer. Goes to Georgia, plays a rotational role at Georgia, doesn't have the opportunity to show himself as a future player, transfers to Florida State, embraces the challenge of being a feature defender, succeeds, and oftentimes he was the most important person on the field. He plays well as a pass rusher, plays well as a run defender, and that's going to help him transition into just about any scheme.
Indeed.
Love the upside.
All right, mine from the summer, number 5 was Nick Benito out of Georgia. Not Georgia.
Oklahoma.
Oklahoma. I'm thinking of Nolan Smith for whatever reason in my head, but Nolan Smith's going back to school.
Your mind on 2023. Yeah, you do.
Now, Nick Benito, he fell a little bit down the list, but he still played. He's still a good player. Again, I have Jermaine Johnson. This guy, scheme diversive. That's one of the big things. He can play 4-3 end. He can play 3-4 end. He's a high IQ player. So he's not just winning with speed. He's not just winning with power. He's got pass rush moves that he's developing. And he's going to develop into a player in the league. I'll say that. All right, next up, Sean. Number four in the summer. Number 4 now.
I had Drake Jackson from USC as my number 4 guy in the summer. Drake Jackson's fallen a little bit for me. Definitely out of the top 5. And my number 4 now is someone I'm really excited about. Myjai Sanders from Cincinnati. You remember Cincinnati getting a mud hole stomped in them against Alabama in the playoffs. But did you see Myjai Sanders putting all the pressures on Bryce Young? It may not have shown up in the box score. You didn't see those tackles for a loss. You didn't see those sacks. But look deeper than that box score. You saw the pressure that he was putting on. You saw him using that speed rush ability to get past potential number 1 overall pick, Evan Neal. There's a lot to like about Myjai Sanders.
We don't have him there.
We don't, but some people do. And the amazing thing is, Luke Fickell, Cincinnati's head coach, admitted even after the playoffs were done, after they were bounced, that they weren't even using Sanders the right way. I think Cincinnati uses a 3-3-5 defense. And he admitted, we didn't use Myjai Sanders the best that we could have. It wasn't the right system fit for him. But he was still able to generate all those pressures. Got great length. That first step is explosive. Don't expect him to be a power rusher. Don't expect him to bully that tackle and push him back. He's going to beat him on the outside. He is a speed rusher. He's got some work to do against the run. That's going to need some more development in that area, but he's got great potential.
All right, so my number 4 guy was Zack Harrison of Ohio State, and how he fell down the list.
Yep.
Still talented, but needs to show a lot more. So my number 3 guy, my number 4 guy for now, is David Jabo out of Michigan. Oh, people are mad. I'm replacing an Ohio State guy with a Michigan guy. But Jabo seemingly coming out of nowhere. It shows a lot of quickness, just like Myjai. That's what he's going to win with. He's going to win with his quickness. He's going to need some pass rush moves. He's not necessarily a power guy, but he does have some good power. But he is going to be quick off the edge. Could play 4-3, but probably more of a stand-up 3-4 outside rusher. Of course, there's a team that I've been mocking him to for a while in Baltimore. I think he's a perfect fit for that type of defense, but he can play the other defenses too.
I've seen some mock drafts, and I've seen Jabo going top 10 in these mock drafts.
Woo.
And I don't see it yet. I don't know if I'm just a little bit slow on him. I know Jabo's getting better, but there's still that certain level of inexperience. He's such a raw player. I mean, he knows how to get to the quarterback. He's got some moves. We've seen that. He's very athletic, so that's going to help him test off the charts when it comes combine time.
And he has good motor. He's got a very good motor.
But with his skill level right now, you're thinking if you're drafting him top 10, that rookie season, he's going to be spending as a situational pass rusher, and then it all depends on the coaching staff to develop him into a more consistent threat. And I'm thinking, man, would I want to risk that for a top 10 pick? Indeed. I don't know about that, but maybe they know something I don't.
Baltimore pits at 14. I think that's a perfect place.
That'd be better. Not top 10, though. I think I saw him going like number 8.
The Philly. Some people have him going to Philly.
Yeah,
But
well,
Philly's out of the top 10 now.
yeah. I think
So,
I've seen him going to the Giants. Like 5, not
7?
5, but 7. Something
All right,
ridiculous.
next up,
Yeah.
number 3.
Number 3, in the summertime, I had Kingsley Enagbare from South Carolina as my number 3 edge, but now I have previously not top 5, George Karloftis from Purdue. And I remember during the summer series, leaving him out of my top 5 was so hard for me. He's got a good combination of speed, explosiveness, strength. He's got several good moves that he can use to put pressure on the quarterback and win those battles against the tackle. Excellent motor. I expect to hear his name called during the first half of the first rounds, maybe even top 10. He's got Pro Bowl material written all over him.
All right, so my number 3 guy from the summertime was Najee Sanders. And my number 3 guy right now is George Karloftis also. This is a guy who's most likely going to win with power. He's a mauler. This guy is going to take a tackle and put him on skates. He's also going to be probably considered one of the more for stunts and whatnot, loops and stunts. He's probably gonna not win with as much speed as people would, like, you know, Najee Sanders or David Jabo, but he does have decent enough speed to possibly win with speed every once in a while. But no, what he's gonna really win with is his technique and his power.
Yep.
Also, there's no way, if you got a speed guy on the other side, there's no way that the quarterback's getting out of this guy's cleanup. And with that, he is absolutely not a liability in the run game. Najee Sanders, I think Najee Sanders is actually really good at the run. The Jabo's gonna have to prove he's good at the run, but this guy, day one, you can put him in to anchor that side and set the edge, so that there's none of those outside zone plays are happening where the runner's getting outside of the tackle there and hitting that edge. It's not happening with George Karloftis. Number 2.
All right. In the summer, I had Najee Sanders as my number 2. I was really high on him. He is my number 4 now. Just talked about him, but now my number 2 is Kayvon Thibodeau, Oregon. Go Ducks. This is going to be the first time in the last several years that we've actually had, or we could have, a debate about who is going to be drafted number 1. You know, this year we had Trevor Lawrence. I don't think there is any debate about that. Last year was Joe Burrow. Don't think there was any debate. 2019 with Kyler Murray. I think there was a debate that year. So this year we could have a debate.
It was a debate.
Yeah. But this year we're going to have a conversation about 2 edge defenders. And Kayvon Thibodeau has a combination of size and speed that's going to set him apart. He is going to be a good speed rusher off the edge. He played great this year. That's without question. I don't think we saw him take his game to another level this year. I think that was due to Oregon's versatility, his versatility in Oregon's defense, because you can line him up all over the line. And they seem to play him in coverage a little bit more often this year than they had in the past. Where I have Kayvon Thibodeau number 2 is because he relies a lot on his ridiculous athleticism to get to the quarterback. Sometimes when he's rushing the passer, it doesn't look like there's a plan in place. If he gets stopped, what's that plan B look like? And it's something like that that makes me think, man, he's got this really high upside. He's got a higher upside compared to Aiden Hutchinson, but there's still some of that work needs to be done. He needs a better plan of how he's getting to the quarterback, how he's attacking as a pass rusher. Because when you get to the pros, there's only so much that you can rely on that ridiculous athleticism before he gets stopped. So he's definitely got some growing to do, but he's not out of the question for number one.
All right, so my number 2 guy from the summer was Drake Jackson from USC. He also falls a little bit, and still talented. But my number 2 guy is also Kayvon Thibodeau. And here's the thing. What do you want? Do you want the finished product, or do you want the upside? Kayvon Thibodeau, out of the edge class, Kayvon Thibodeau might be the most naturally gifted player in this draft. Overall, he's probably the second most naturally gifted player in this entire draft overall. But he's not a finished product. There's a lot of work to be done here. So year one, he's going to give you something, but he's not going to give you. Year one's not going to look like it's going to look like year 5. So he's not coming in and he's not pulling the Nick Bosa thing. You know, he might pull more of a Danielle Hunter type situation. Still, again, you can't miss with him. This is literally possibly a can't miss prospect. All right, let's move on to number 1. It's number 1 for both of us.
Man,
we both had Thibodeau number 1 in the off season. Who do you have number 1 right now, Sean? I think you already let the beans out the bag. So go
there should have
ahead.
been no surprise. If anybody's followed college football for 3 minutes this season, they should have had no surprise about who our number 1 guy is. It's Aiden Hutchinson, Michigan. He was on a whole other level this season. He just dominated as a pass rusher, more than held his own the run game. And you want him going after the quarterback, though. And we saw him put his quickness on display. We saw him put his strength on display. He showed that he was the leader of the Michigan defense.
Speed the power.
And
Speed the power is going to be his bread and butter. Similar to Nick Bosa, this guy is just going to come in and hit the ground running for whatever team he's on.
yep. And it's all the more special when you consider that he missed most of last season, that 2020 year, with a broken
Came
leg.
back in and bet on himself.
Yep.
Another guy coming in, betting on himself and paying off.
So while Thibodeau may have more long-term upside, Aiden Hutchinson is the best edge coming into the draft with the fewest questions or concerns. He's got
more
the
of a finished
highest
product.
floor with the high ceiling.
All right. That's all she wrote this week for our position updates. You guys have any questions for us? Again, the Cat Daddy on Instagram or Twitter. Ush Elliott, Instagram, Twitter. That's all she wrote, folks.